Alright guys, you're going to have to find this page in your books. You're going to have to go through and really pause this to make sure that you know what's going on. So if you need more time to write, if you need more time to do any of that stuff, just make sure that you pause it and find where you're at. Give yourself some time so that you know what's going on. Okay, the nice part about this lesson is that it is not much different than what we have been doing. Okay, we're just adding one part to it. And what we're adding to it is called corresponding parts of congruent figures are congruent. So add a C onto the end of this, so are congruent. So it's Cpcfc. All that means is once our triangles are congruent, now we can make sure that now the parts are going to be congruent. Okay, so if we look at this proof, okay, the first thing that we have to do in this proof is prove that the triangles are congruent. Okay, so we know that the first thing that we always do is going to be to use our givens. So we have angle KBC is congruent to angle ACB, and we know that angle K is congruent to angle A. Okay, those are our givens. Alright, so if we look at our picture right here, okay, what else can we say? Okay, the thing that we need to look for now is that reflexive property, that shared side. So now I can say BC is congruent to BC because that is reflective. Alright, so now you have to say what triangles are congruent, because we've got enough information to prove our triangles congruent. That's where this congruence statement comes from. That's what they want to know. Okay, make sure that you've got your corresponding stuff going on. So if I say triangle KBC is congruent, we have to take a look. I started with K, so what angle is congruent to K? A. So it would be A. Okay, and then we're looking at B was next. In this case, B and C are congruent. So AC B would be the triangle that it's congruent to. And how is it congruent? We've got an angle, and a side. So angle, side. The only choices you have for triangle congruence can be angle, side, angle, side, angle, or side, side. Those are your only options. Third angle theorem doesn't work. All kinds of other stuff that you guys have been putting down that does not work. You need to make sure that it's one of those four. Okay, so now that my triangles are congruent, now I can go ahead and say this congruence statement right here. Okay, now I can say because my triangles are congruent, I can say that KB is congruent to AC, and I can say that because of what we just learned, Cpcfc, because corresponding parts of congruent figures are congruent. Okay. Let's try the next one. Okay. It tells us that AB is congruent to AC. Okay, AB congruent to AC. It also tells us that M is the midpoint of BC. Okay, those are our givens. Okay, now just because it told us that M is the midpoint of BC, so we need to look at, struggling with this. Okay, we're looking at BC, so we're looking at this side right here, because that's what they're talking about. M is the midpoint of that. So if M is the midpoint of this side, what can I say about it? I can say that BM is congruent to MC, because that's what a midpoint does. It's the midpoint between that side. So that is definition of a midpoint. Okay, so I can say that that is congruent to that. Okay, now looking at these two triangles, okay, do they share a side? Yep. Anytime they share a side, MA is going to be congruent to MA, and that is reflexive. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. So why are these, now can I say that the two triangles are congruent? I can. I can say that triangle BMA is going to be congruent to triangle, what goes with B? CMA, because of, why? We have three sides. So side, side, side. Now, because my triangles are congruent, now I can say this. Now I can say angle AMB is congruent to angle AMC. Why can I say that? Because congruent parts of congruent figure, or of course corresponding parts of congruent figures are congruent. Okay, Cpcfc. No, I'm not going to make you write out the whole thing. Alright, so let's check to see if our two triangles are congruent here. Okay, we know that this side right here is congruent. So can we say anything about this? Well, let's check. We don't have side, angle, side. Okay, we don't have side, angle, side. We don't have two angles. And I can't use ASS. That's bad. So in this case, my answer is no. I cannot prove that those are congruent. Okay, we've got this one over here. Okay, I've got my vertical angles. So can I say yes or no to this one? I can say yes because I have an angle, a side, and an angle. And they have to go in that order. Okay, and then let's look at this middle one. Okay, I have a shared side, so I can say that's congruent. And now I have that same thing. I have an angle, a side, and an angle. On my other triangle, I have an angle, a side, and an angle. So I can say angle, side, angle on that one. Okay, here I've got vertical angles. Okay, are they congruent? I can say yes because I have a side, and then an angle, and then a side. I have a side, and then an angle, and then a side. When we look at this one, we've got that vertical angle again. Alright, and so if we look at it, again, I have an angle, a side, and an angle. Down here I'm going angle, side, angle. So again, I've got angle, side, angle. This guy, all I have is an angle and a side. Okay, I can't say anything else about it because they're not connected, so I don't have vertical angles, I don't have a shared side, I don't have anything like that. So I cannot say that those are congruent. Okay, so now it's asking for that missing piece of information. Okay, we want angle, side, angle, so we've got this side. So now in order to get angle, side, angle, I've got angle, side. This must be the angle that I need. So I need angle DUT has to be congruent to angle SUT. Okay, here they want side, angle, side. We've got this side, we've got that angle. So in order to do side, angle, side, I've got to go side, angle, and now I need this side. So XK needs to be congruent to, now I've got side, angle, and now I need this side. It has to be congruent to WV. Okay, and then this one, angle, side, angle. So I've got angle, I need the side, and I've got the angle. So the side that I need is this guy right here. I need BE needs to be congruent to, be careful over here, I've got angle, I need that side in between my two angles. So I need KJ. Okay, be careful. All right, one more proof because we need the practice. So, JK is parallel to PQ. All right, just because they're parallel does not mean I can say that they're congruent. Okay, parallel sides does not mean that they're congruent. But in this case, it says this. It says that JK is congruent to PQ. Okay, those are my givens. Alright, so now we know by looking at our cheat sheet, I need to check JK parallel to PQ. So what am I looking for if I have parallel lines? I'm looking for alternate interior angles. And in this case, angle K and angle Q are going to be what I'm looking for. Angle K is congruent to angle Q because those are my alternate interior angles. Okay, now I look at my picture up here. What else can I see? I see I've got lines that cross. Anytime I've got lines that cross, you can bet that you are going to have vertical angles. So angle KMJ is going to be congruent to angle QMP by vertical angles. Okay, so now do I have the information that I need to state that my triangles are congruent? I do. I can say triangle KMJ is congruent to triangle. Now be careful, K goes with Q, so Q, M goes with M, J goes with P, and that's going to be angle, angle, side. Okay, so I've got my triangles congruent. Now I can end with this guy. KM is congruent to QM because of Cpcfc. So here's my clue to you. All of your proofs will end with these two steps. Okay, triangle congruence. Okay, that's going to be your second to last. Your choices for your second to last step: SAS, AAS, ASA, and SSS. If your second to last step is not one of those four, then you did something wrong. Okay, your last step will be Cpcfc. That's what you will end with. Okay, good luck. If you have any issues, talk to somebody that was here yesterday. Okay, they will help you with that first proof on the second page. I believe it's number 6. Okay, they'll help you get through those first steps. 2 and 3 are a little bit harder. So ask your neighbor that was here yesterday. They will help you out with that. Have a good day.